The Crystal Cave is a 1970 novel by Mary Stewart, and this is the story of Merlin, an early fantasy, actually, retelling of the Arthurian myth. It is narrated by an older Merlin, but goes back to his childhood and then onward from there. Merlin is about 5 or 6 at the start. He lives with his mother in Merlin and is considered the son of a demon, like in some medieval romances, see, like of Arthur and of Merlin, the first Arthurian English romance. His mother is a princess. His actual name is Merlin Emrys. The Romans have left Britain, but not too long ago, and a high king rules the various Britannic kingdoms. He shirks his chores and spies on conversations of import that he doesn't understand. Of course, the reader does. He has visions that seem to be clairvoyant. He has a negative reputation because of this. Well, he has a tutor for his basic school, and he finds a hermit named Galapus that teaches him of his psychic gifts and other things. We also have a Saxon slave that's sort of an older pal to Merlin. He is Cheridich, which is an interesting role for that character actually to play here. Ambrosius and Vortigern are people of power. It seems the former is from Brittany and has been sending war bands into Britain, or at least there is a threat of such. Vortigern himself is with the Saxons, but, still rules in Britain. The Crystal Cave is associated with a place he learns from Galapus as a youth, and I think the Omens prophecy, Red Dragon, and such works quite well, actually, in this retelling by Stewart. We are told early on, though, that Merlin means falcon. I just want to point out, as I do every time I see this is not the first time I've seen this in Arthurian retelling, but this isn't true, actually. Merlin means falcon, but that's an English word. Myrthin is Welsh, and it means sea fort. Besides that, many of the names are not difficult for those unfamiliar, like Winchester is used, for example, over a Celtic or Latin version of the city's name. And one thing I will say, though, that the reason Merlin is Merlin in English is because it's Merlinus in Latin and not something closer to Myrthin, is because there is no dental fricative in Latin, so it would have come out something like Myrtin or Myrden, which is way too close for the word for excrement. If you know say like French, for example, you would recognize this still. So, and so that's likely why that sound, again, there is no sound for that in Latin, so that why this was changed in Latin to an L randomly by Geoffrey Monument. So, also the style reminds me some of Rosemary Sutcliffe, which is nice, or John Williams a little bit, which were actually contemporary with Stewart. And it works quite lovely here, right? It's an interesting coming of age, it's twist of fate, in a rather typical vein for Arthurian retellings, but there's strictures of magic and so forth. It's very authentic in that sense. There is some questions you could ask whether this magic is real at all, whether it's magic at all. I'm not sure how this progresses in the series, but I think it's handled rather well, and it's a rather straightforward book, would work rather well, I think, for younger audiences. And while I don't think it's like an amazing novel, I definitely don't think it's bad. And so, if you've read plenty of fantasy-ish Arthur retellings at this point, it probably would seem really similar. But again, this is one of the more early fantasy takes at it, again, 1970. So I did enjoy it. I'll definitely see if I will. I might read more of Mary Stewart's books here in this. So I'm not entirely sure yet. I just don't have access to them right now. So we'll see in the future. I would definitely be up for that. So anyways, Liam from Liam's Lyceum. I will catch you next time.